Thank you very much for being here. So my name is Chris, and I work in Queluz, Sintra. And I would like to start by introducing our Erasmus group. Antonia from Germany, Martina from Italy, Tessa from the Netherlands, and me from Portugal. We had different roles within the group. Tessa and Antonia are student teachers, and so those of us who tried and trialed the ICEKit in the classroom were Martina and myself. So the picture book we chose, and this process wasn't easy at start, we have to admit. It took us some time to find a book that we were all of us comfortable with, and I think that was the first challenge, because we're here to discuss an acceptance and how our students should know and be aware of how things are different, but that process started within the team. So, because we all had different suggestions and different approaches, and we had to find common grounds right at the start of it. So this book, We Are Water Protectors, by Carl Lindstrom and Michaela Goat. And the book talks about the Dakota pipeline protests and how they faced, this tribe faced the threats of being without water. It was difficult for us to choose the activities to show you today, because I'm a bit biased, but we think that the kit is quite rich and it's possible to do so many different things. But I would like to point out something that I did a bit differently in Portugal. Some of you are familiar with DAC, Domínios de Articulação Curricular, and at the time we were choosing in school for my class, because I'm a diretora de turma, and I proposed that my class would work this topic in all different subjects. So don't be surprised if I talk about the music teacher or the history teacher, because they were all involved. So to start preparing the students for the book and to set the story context, we did some activities, some research, and they had to, they used their phones or their iPads. Those that know me know that I'm quite a technological person, so they are used to using phones and iPads and all that in the classroom. So they did some research on the different indigenous tribes and where they were located, and they had to fill in a document like this. And that's my class working there in the photos. They were particularly interested in what different clothes. The book shows very, very colorful clothes, but not all tribes were dressed like that. And this activity was also done with the history teacher, because they had to locate, history and geography teacher, and because they had to locate the tribes in different parts of the world. Then before reading aloud, we did, and in the context of paritextual ponderings, we decided to, and this is some photos from the Italian students, the dedication. So the Italian students, they took inspiration in the author's dedication, and they chose who they wanted to dedicate their work to, and they chose, they worked in pairs, and they chose to dedicate to parents, to siblings, to neighbors, or just friends, and they were very grateful for love, protection, patience, and friendship. So this is a wall in the Italian classroom where they displayed their work. Let me just say that between Martina and I, we trialed all the activities in the kit, so we were able to try everything and then some. Because Martina has much more time with the class. I only have them twice a week because my students are in grade 6. While reading aloud, we did this reflect and review. We used the feather. The feather has an important role in the book. It appears in the cover. And the feathers look like this. This is some of mine. And the reason why, I've got a blue one here, just in case you're wondering if they all hated or not the activity. I decided to bring one of each because it's important also for us to accept that sometimes not all students like things, and it's okay, and that's okay. So one of them was able to say, I'm sorry, it's not my type of story, it's not what I like, but it's okay. I enjoyed it anyway, but it's not my thing. And I think for us, it's also important that they have that, they feel comfortable enough to say to the teacher, to their role model, to the person sitting in front of them, that it's okay. It's not a problem to not like something that the teacher is doing. And in the photo, we've got the Italian students in a really nice, beautiful photo all around the book with their blue feathers. And they were saying things like, I really like the girl. I would be brave like her. Or I really love these drawings. So this is how important, giving some importance to the illustrations and how important they are. And this book is very rich in terms of the illustrations. And we talked a lot between yesterday and today of silent books. There are some pages in this book that are very loud. Then after reading aloud, and this is to start to create some momentum for the taking action part. Because the book shows the pages, as you can see, of some protest slogans and posters. So the students in Portugal wanted to do some posters as well, and this is my students preparing the posters. And I think for them it was the realization that water should not be taken for granted, and that there are some people out there who have to or had to fight to have it, and to have it. I'm not even discussing if it's potable or not, or if it's drinkable or not. It's just to have water. So as they had this moment where they understood how it was different in the different parts of the world, they got more motivated and gave them a purpose to make these posters, and they got quite enthusiastic about it. And these posters were displayed in school. One of the big pages of the book is the girl with the feather, and to give strength to people to take courage and to fight for what they believe in. And with that in mind, here were my students with their posters following the girl's footsteps, and also protesting and showing how important it is to stand up for something you really want, need. Now, meeting the Italian students, we felt it was important. We had two sessions online, but we felt it was important for the students to know each other. And yesterday I heard a lot about the curriculum and where did the curriculum stay in the middle of all this. So what we decided to do was to dedicate some time to bringing all their knowledge to this moment, and they made a big list of questions using all those traditional, what's your favorite color, and that kind of thing, and everything they wanted to know about Italian students. We did a bit of a game and assigned students to each other, and that led to the first Zoom session where the only thing we did was just know each other and ask questions to each other, nothing else. And my students were quite worried about, they'll speak better English than us. And at the end, the conclusion was, oh, it's just like us. They also struggle. They also need the teacher to translate. It's just like us, because sometimes they don't feel very confident about what they know. I mean, we keep telling them this. You know a bit more than what you think. So this was important. And I would like to show you just a very quick clip.
Where do you live? Do you live?
I live in Belas, in Portugal.
How about you?
How about you?
I live in Castelletto Busca. Okay.
Thank you.
Very shy, but the message and the information, and this created a bond between them. And when they just to share at the very last lesson, they asked me, when will we meet our Italian friends again? So Then we moved on to the taking action part, and both classes, one using Mentimeter and the other one using Jamboard, made a selection of questions or ways to save water, and that's what you can see on the board. This information would be put together in a flyer, bilingual flyers, in Portugal and in Italy, to be then distributed in the community. Then we had the session again online, and here we were already sharing our flyers. You can see the Italian students, even though they started with Canva, that then they decided and chose to do go a bit more artsy, and do it with colors and paints and drawings. The Portuguese students, maybe because of their teacher, decided to do something a bit more techy that I'll show you in a bit. These are some of the posters. These flyers were taken into the community. One of these groups in Italy was I think we all were very happy to talk to each other and meet online, but one group decided there's a little flyer there in the middle with both flags and both hands holding, because they wanted to share their gratitude to Portuguese students for being available and willing to share their experience with them. And while I'm standing here, I would like to also thank Martina and her class for that. So then they went out into the community. We can see here in these photos the Italian students talking to people in different shops and showing the flyer, asking questions. How did they save water? What did they do on their daily basis and on their businesses, how to save and protect water. They planned to visit the pharmacy, the bakery, the cafe, and the gardener. They also talked to the gardener. And at the end, one student in Italy decided that he would help the public gardener every week. So in Portugal, and now going back to the working with other teachers, I asked for the IT teacher to give me a hand, and he created these flyers with the students. Now, they look quite professional, and they are, but I would like to just say that the students, every single shape that you can see in these flyers were firstly made manually by the students using PowerPoint. Because the teacher was working with PowerPoint and telling them and explaining and teaching them how to use PowerPoint, so they used PowerPoint in all the shapes to create the shapes that you see there. And then they put them all together in Canva, using the information that they collected in English, and with the help of the Portuguese teacher that got translated to make the flyers that you see on screen. And these flyers were printed and delivered in school. Again, we didn't go into the community because with my 2 lessons per week, it was very difficult. The arts teacher, Educação Tecnológica, or Educação Visual, also wanted to chip in. And so he created this, with the help of the students, this big poster that's been displayed in a greenhouse we have in our school, with a pond and some fish and some water, that it's not very clean. That's also a message, with the poster standing next to it. At the end of the kit, some of the students shared their H8 reflect and review. And I would just like to point out, made me feel like a true protector of water, taking a more active role in society, demonstrating how important water is, and we don't live without it. They learn more English vocabulary. Well, if we were worried about the curriculum, that's okay then. Happy because this was fun, and happy to meet new people, and nervous about having to talk to them. Finally, I would like to say thank you to API for inviting me to join the project at the point of my life where I needed a purpose. The ICEPELL mentors, in particular David, for all the guidance and help throughout the process. It wasn't always easy to find the time and the strength to do the kit. It looks amazing now, but there were some tears and sweat through the process. To loop a design for the ICEKit illustrations that were also used in this presentation, the Portuguese and the Italian children, their parents for joining us in this adventure, just to say that all the parents gave permission for photos and everything that you've seen here, and to our schools that gave us the freedom to move away from the course book. I didn't touch it for a month and a half, allowing children to become intercultural citizens through this amazing picture book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing all of that rich learning. So questions then. Okay, so the first one, did you provide any scaffolding for the online research tasks?
Yes, the kit comes with a worksheet with some information, with some guidelines. It gives them a list of possible tribes that could be looked online. It gives them topics, but it also it says what language do they speak. We wanted them to look for 3 particular things: what language they speak, where in the world they are, and what were they wearing. This is related to what they learn in English lessons as well. But it gave them room to then, if they wanted to look for something else, they could. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Do you have any tips for training such young students to critically examine the information they find online and to evaluate the reliability of the website they find?
Well, in the kit, we give some websites already to try to control as much as you can that task in class. Then you just have to move around a lot in class and make sure that you have enough, that you spend enough time with every single group. So it's not the type of activity where you can just say, you do that for 5 minutes and we'll talk again and at the end of that. It's the type of activity that you really have to make sure that you go to all the groups, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, I went to all the groups as quickly as I could to make sure that they were using a reliable source, and then give them a bit more room, and then I would go there again. So this was 90 minutes of research.
Okay, thank you. So do you have recommendations for teachers to replicate what you've done? For example, when they're trying to move away from the course book?
That's difficult. I think it takes lots of preparation. So because I was so involved in the process of writing the kit, I knew exactly what I was expected to do in a month's time. So when you download the kit and you need to check every single activity and what each one asks of you, and then look at your book and see how that can work. Because I was doing past simple and I was doing comparatives because we were comparing the tribes. Now, if you ask me, did I did exercise on the board about superlatives or whatever? No, I was not. But then the students were able to say in their presentation, oh, my flyer is bigger than yours. Mm-hmm. So I think, or my flyer has more illustrations than yours, or so it was all there. So it's just a matter of organizing and planning. And that depends really on your class, on the way you work, your course book, of course, and the freedom that the school gave me and the acceptance from parents. They knew, because I'm the directora tutorum, I was able to tell them, look, don't be shocked if I don't use the book, but everything is there. And as you probably know, at least the Portuguese teachers know, that some units go back and bring everything into the units later on, so I was able to then combine some things and work them together after the project was finished. Mm-hmm. I hope that helps.
Okay. And will your students be able to keep in touch with their new Italian friends?
Well, I had a quick chat with Martina last week, and that's the plan. But for the time being, we decided just to enjoy our holidays. But yes, they asked me about it, and they really want to, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and were the posters made by the students published in a school newspaper or distributed in the community?
Yes, they were printed, A3 size, and they were displayed in school. there's still an article to be written to go on the website, and as soon as I have some time, yes.
Okay. And the next one, why not going to the beach to clean up? It was an excellent opportunity for DAC.
Well, we can bring yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit what DAC is and then why you didn't go to the beach?
Well, DAC stands for Domínios de Articulação Curricular, and it's a project, so it's something that happens in schools in Portugal where every single class chooses a topic or something they're interested in. This usually comes from students, so it's the teacher, the diretor de turma talks to the students and see what they're interested in, and the teachers see how they can work together to develop that project. At the time, my class was in that process, and I proposed the project. They accepted it right away when I said that there would be online sessions with Italian students. That was their motivation. They were very scared, but they were very excited about that. And I think then it's that thing where, oh, if the diretor de turma is suggesting it, maybe we should just do it. We didn't go to the beach because even though it was possible, but Martina took them out, and I wanted to do something a bit different within the school. So because the community is not just outside the school, it's also inside, and sometimes we need to start inside and then go outside. So that's the reason.
Okay. And how many hours did you actually spend on the project?
So my students have 3 times 45 per week. I started in February, and it was the rest of the term. So that was a lot, yes.
Okay.
Because then keep in mind that then some activities would go to the history teacher or the science teacher. The project suggests doing an activity with water bottles that David mentions in his sessions. So that was done with the presence of the science teacher and the skeleton, the animals and the type of animals. So sometimes it would go away to a different teacher, then come back to me.
Okay, and there's a question there about the age. How old were the students?
11, 10, changing to 11, 12, so 6th grade.
Okay, and a final comment, I think. Yeah? So, it was amazing to testify all your effort with this project, and you were able to involve the other subjects and involve the community. Loved it.
Thank you very much.
So I think that's a great comment to end on, and thank you very much to Chris and to Martina and the whole Erasmus group. Thank you.